Hi, I am Dr. Senthil Kenathan from SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Trichy. I am happy to share about resume building today. Why resume is very important nowadays? Because many freshers are getting into a job only with the focus of their resumes. Now let us see about resume one by one. Before getting into resume, there are so many confusions happening for the students. What is biodata, what is CV, and what is resume? Now let us see one by one on biodata first. What is biodata? Biodata is just a basic information about a person. For example, the age, gender, caste, family, region, etc. Then it is normally of a single page biodata. Now let us get into curriculum meeting. What is curriculum meeting? It is highly meant for freshers, whereas it is basically number of pages would be maximum 2 and not more than that. The reason is they are to be gone through by their recruiter, so it need not be for more than 2 pages. Then at last we look into resume. What is resume? Resume is for highly experienced people. Minimum of 2 pages and maximum is depend upon their capacity to build their CV. Now, whether curriculum vitae is required, yes or no. If it is yes, why it is required? Now, let us get into the importance of curriculum vitae. It describes you, isn't it? Yes, it describes about you, what you are, what you did, what is your capacity, what you are good at, everything it describes. And we can say it is a kind of a passport for you to get into a job market. So it is very, very important. Next is about you need to market yourself. You have to give all your credentials in a very good manner in the CV. You need to impress the recruiter. Impressing the recruiter is not so easy. You have to impress the recruiter in just 15 to 20 seconds because the recruiter will not take much of his time to go through your CV. So he may have a chance to go through in 15 to 20 seconds. And there should never be any duplication in your CV. That means we are going to see in detail about this duplication part, might be in the last few slides. And you have to update your CV every 3 months at least. If you are not updating your CV in every 3 months, then you are on a lighter note, you are not living, you are dead. Right. Now, let us get into the second part. What are the content to be there in our CV? Now, to start with, there are top 5 important things to be in your CV. I'll tell you in a few next slide. The objective is very important. Co-curricular activities are to be mentioned. Achievements are to be mentioned. Then extracurricular activities, personal details. That's it. And do you think is it required? Yes. Let us discuss about this declaration part very clearly. Now, what is top 5? Top 5 are your name, email ID, contact number, address, and photo. All these 5 are very, very important, and these 5 are to be at the top of the sheet. Why name is important? We all know it is being very important to call by name. And next, email ID. It is for a contact purpose. Likewise, contact number. So these 3 things we always feel very mandatory and should be at the top. And we also have a doubt why address is required. Address is required. It is not only for knowing the person where the person is coming from, but also for the people to understand whether based on their address, whether the branches, if the company has many branches, then they can definitely check the local guys of that particular location. So address is very much mandatory. And nowadays you may ask a question, are we getting any courier or postal for employment? No, it is not so, but still we need address just to know the locality of the person. The last mentioned thing is about the photo. Whether photo is required? Yes, it is highly mandatory, and especially for the freshers. Because companies come to campuses, they have so many names with the similarities. Not only that, there are gender wise. For example, Lakshmi, it might be a gender biased name. It might be male or a female. So it is better to have a photo always there. And in campus, what will happen is there might have a confusion about a person and his name. So to match these photo is very much required, and that has to be at the top of the 5. So these top 5 are to be mentioned in the CV. Next is about objective. Why objective is required? Objective is very much required in 3 areas: what you are good at, and what you can contribute, and for whose benefit. So for example, you always say what you are good at. I am good in those and such things. Then what you can contribute for the development of the company, and for whose benefit. So joining together, you and your organization can grow together, right? So objective is very much important in that manner. Then let us get into the co-curricular activities. So in a CV, we will not mention as a co-curricular as a heading. We include academic qualification, internships, projects, seminars, workshops, conferences, both attended as well as conducted, certifications. So putting everything together, let us see one by one. What is academic qualification? So academic qualification is nothing but our own credentials, especially into academics, that has to be mentioned in reverse chronological order. For example, your 10th should be at the last. So whatever you pursue right now, whether it might be a UG or a PG, whatever you pursue, it should be at the top. That is called current or pursuing. Then your previous one, UG, 12th, 10th. Similarly, it has to be mentioned. And what are the contents to be there in that? There are 3 formats we normally use. One is table format, bullet format, and paragraph format. Now let us discuss about our table format. In a table format, we have the first thing is about your degree, then about the institution where you have studied, then about the university or a state board, or a board where you have studied, then about your year of passing, then percentage, it might be in a class, first class, distinction, or whatever you have. So all these things are to be mentioned. So this is the content of the table. Next is about bullet formatting. In a bullet formatting, what you have to do, you can mention in a telegraphic format. It is not in a sentence format. So you have to be very, very careful. For example, you can say pursuing MBA in such and such an institution, and then you can also mention percentage and duration. So this is how you have to mention it. And the next is about the paragraph format. In a paragraph format, what you can do is you can always include in a sentence format. So I have been pursuing XNX course in this institution and secured this much of percentage during the period. So like that you have to frame it. So you should know the difference among these 3 things: table format, bullet format, and paragraph format. Now let us get into the next area called achievements. Why achievements are required? So, and before getting into achievements, I would like to share a few things about things. So let us go back to the previous 2 slides. Now let us get into about the co-curricular activities content. Internships. Let us talk a few things about internship also. Internship is very important to be mentioned in the CV. Why it is important? You have to mention not only the place where you have done your internship, but also you need to mention the learnings, what you have done, what you have got from the company where you have done the intern, and the duration also you have to mention it. Similarly, for project also, it might be an individual project or a group project, so everything has to be mentioned in a beautiful way. And at last, you need to also mention about the seminars, workshops, or conferences where you have attended as well as you have conducted. This will give you a wonderful opportunity for the interviewer to know about you more. And at last, you need to also mention about the certifications. There are so many certifications happening in the world. So what you have done, what was your learning, how much of certifications have you got it? There are so many online softwares also available for you to get. Even our government has also given, like NPTL, SWAYAM, like that. So you can also get the certifications based on your own academic. Now let us get into the other area called achievements. Why achievements is very much important? and where it has to be kept. Achievements are very, very important, right? Achievement is nothing but the prizes where you have won in which area. It might be academic as well as non-academic, right? And where it has to be mentioned, it has to be mentioned only or preferably in the next page of the top. The reason is very simple. When you happen to have a glance of your CV, the recruiter will always have a glance only at the top, not in the middle or in the bottom, right? So the attention gathering is very important. If it is done at the top, it is always better for you to get more opportunity for you to be called for an interview. Then let us talk about extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities includes your sports, culturals like dance, singing, anything for that matter. And we also talk about the events conducted where you have explicit your leadership qualities, organizing capacities, right, coordination, team building roles, whatever you have done so far, that is a great achievement for you. And about areas of interest. Areas of interest is slightly different from hobbies. Let me explain both of them to you. Areas of interest, where you can have your career, it's related to your areas of interest. When it comes to hobbies, what do you do at your leisure time? Not for a career aspects, but for your leisure time to have happiness or to have pleasure, or you can spend your time. So that is called hobbies. So you should know the difference between areas of interest and hobbies. Now, let us get into the personal details. So personal details is very, very important. And the thing is, I have struck out the name. Why I have struck out? Because of no duplication should be there in your CV. I told you earlier. So duplications are to be very much avoided everywhere. So name should not be mentioned. And your father's name or mother's name, anything you can mention it. And his or her occupation, you can mention it. And the most important thing is, as I told you earlier, you are going to market yourself. Whatever good in you, you can market. So whatever good in you, how do you know? How you can project it to others? It is by your father's occupation or your mother's occupation. And date of birth is mandatory. And regarding this gender, sex, why it has to not to be mentioned? Can anyone say? Yes. As you have the photo at the top of the first top 5 list, so this gender is nowhere required. So hope you understand right now why I have said it is not required to mention. And nationality, religion are highly optional. The most important thing is address. Address, again, we have mentioned one address there at the top of the file. Now, is it address required? Yes. If it is 2 addresses you have, for example, temporary address and permanent address, then definitely you can have your permanent address here. So I'm telling you again, no duplication. Yes. Now, very, very interesting area about declaration. Many of you feel that declaration is required, and many people also suggest you to have declaration. I have a question to explain. Why declaration is required? It is hereby stating that whatever information has been provided is true to my best of my knowledge, right? So in those days it was done by others, and somebody have typed it, somebody have signed, you have signed it with a place and a signature and date, everything. But nowadays, no typing is required. You prepare your own CV, and the most important thing is CV, whenever you send a CV to somebody, it is always an updated one. So there is no need for a date, and place is highly immaterial, and you are going to send only through by mail or something. And signature, there is no need of a digital signature anywhere in your CV. So it is nowhere required, all these things. And it is not that you can always accept my words, but you should know why I say so. The justification is also very important. Take the justifications whenever somebody asks for it, right? And I hope this content will be of very much useful to you. If you have any queries on this, you can definitely contact me on this email ID or number, or else you can also give my suggestions so that it can be incorporated if it is okay for me to take it forward. Thank you.